everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I am reviewing a bunch of new product, including the Morphe 35M Boss Mood palette, as well as the Too Faced Born This Way concealer and foundations, and there's a few other product that I just threw in that I needed to test out as well. So this is kind of just like a testing new makeup and also a review on what I just mentioned as well. So if you are interested in makeup tutorials, product reviews, hair tutorials, all that kind of stuff, definitely subscribe to my channel and thumbs this video up if you are liking the way that this makeup looks right now. I don't know that I've ever done like a look like this on my channel, but I like it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I filled in my brows, well at least the beginning of them, like pretty quickly. So I'm going to clean those up right now and I'm going to prime my lids with the MAC Select Cover Up. I just have a little sample here because they actually discontinued this, which is like the saddest thing ever. But this is the Select Cover Up Concealer in NC20. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of carve out my brow with this new Born This Way concealer. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Super Coverage Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. Conceal, contour, highlight, and retouch. That's what I'm talking about. So this is it over here. I love Too Faced packaging too. It's like really cute and it's just very aesthetic as well. I guess I have... Do I have a Too Faced foundation? I don't actually think that I have any Too Faced foundation, so this is like a first for like Too Faced as a brand as well. So I picked my concealer up in the shade Chestnut. I actually got this a little while ago at a BeautyCon LA. I just lost it and I didn't want to rebuy it because I knew it was somewhere like in my makeup stash, and as I was cleaning up and organizing after I came back from New York for Fashion Week, I found it and I was like, oh my gosh. Because the foundation and concealer, like, I don't know, it's pretty lame to lose product, and I like don't want to like rebuy it because I knew I had it somewhere and like there's no way it could have been taken because like no one's in my makeup stash but me. So yeah, I found it. So this is obviously not like a brand new review when it just came out because it's been out for a long time, but you know, I found it now, so this is when we're reviewing it. Alright, so I'm just going to clean up my brows as usual. There's nothing really new and fancy about this process, but I can feel already just by what I'm doing right now that this is like really full coverage, which I like. I love full coverage concealers. Okay, so that was pretty easy. It dries pretty quickly. I guess it's pretty matte and it is definitely full coverage. So I'm really happy with the way that that cleaned it up in 5 seconds. I'm going to use the Select Cover Up Concealer and just prime my lids, and we're going to get started with the eyeshadow. Okay, so I've just primed my lid with that NC20, and I feel like I should do one eye off camera because I actually have no idea what I'm doing, and then I should come back and do the other eye. No, you know what, let's figure it out as we go along because I want you guys to see that I'm just like kind of playing a guessing game with this look. So this is what the Morphe palette looks like. Obviously it looks like I've like really played with it, but it just like really picks up fingerprints. And the thing that just dropped right now is this little insert over here, which I literally never use ever. So I'm not going to tell you the color names, I'm just going to point the actual colors out. I really would love Morphe to get to a point where they can just print the names on this, or like just don't have names, because that sleeve is like not my friend at all. Okay, so this is what the palette looks like. This is the 35M Boss Mood Artistry palette. There are so many moments in here. There's that green moment, that like purple moment, that reddy moment, the bronzy moment. So I'm going to focus on these green shades kind of in this area over here and see what look we can create. So for my lid, I'm going to go in with the brightest shade right now, which is going to be this guy here. I'm going to go in with this color. To place that shade down, I'm going to use my E40 taper blending brush from Sigma. Actually, you know what, I actually really want to concentrate the color, so I'm going to pick up a smaller brush, which is my M506 by Morphe. It's this tiny little brush here. And I'm just depositing the color right into the crease exactly where I want it. Alright, so I've just kept, and I'm going to zoom this in just a little bit more so you can see. So I've just kept kind of depositing that color on there and blending it out and building it up. I do feel like in comparison to most of my Morphe palettes, this formula feels different. It feels a little bit more chalky than I'm used to, but the color is, you know, building up, and I guess because I did use a brighter base, it is kind of building up. But yeah, I think I expected something a little bit different with just the way that this was gonna blend. But we're working it, you know, we're working it. So now I'm just picking up that same shade that I first used on this E40, and I just want to buff this a little more, just up into my crease. This is going to be a super blown out eyeshadow look, so I'm not afraid to kind of push this up into my crease. And because I have that darker concealer up there, it does kind of fade out and obviously isn't as bright as it is, as you see it right into my crease. I wish I had like a yellow, like if this palette had a bright yellow, it would be so perfect to just blend this color out right now. But I don't want to use any other palettes, I just want to use this one. So next up I'm picking a different blending brush. This is the NYX brush and number 32. And I'm going into the second shade, and I'm basically going to start building a gradient with this shade and then this deeper olive tone just directly into my crease. I want to still have the visibility of this bright kind of lime green color that we have going on. So now I'm going to go in, I'm going to have a mix of these two shades, and I'm going to start deepening up my inner and my outer corner. I just switched to a pencil brush so I have more control and I can just place the color exactly where I want it. And then I'm going back in with my Morphe Y19 and just blending all of those together. Then we're going to start packing on that one deeper shade that I showed you. And then I'll use the lighter shade to kind of just blend it out. So now I'm going to add this green shimmer color over here. This looks like the perfect one to put in the center of the lid. And I'm going to start blending that out a little bit. I'm going to use it, applying it with my finger and see how it comes up. And then I might go in with a brush right afterwards. Oh, very pretty, wow. Okay, so that's what it looks like dry, but I feel actually like if I wet my brush, it's gonna like pop even more than what it's showing up right now. So I'm gonna look for, perfect, a little lid brush. So I'm just grabbing some Fix Plus and I'm spraying my brush with Fix Plus. This is a Luxie brush. It's the Luxie Small Shader in the number 245. Okay, so I applied that color to the center of my lid, and now I'm just taking that darker shade as well, and I just want this to be a little more kind of smoky. And then I'm going to take the one lighter shade, which is this shade here. It's almost like a gold, and I'm going to pick this up with my finger as well and put this directly in the center of the lid, just so we have like one little point of light where all the light hits. Just adds more dimension to the look. Okay, so I'm going to do the other eye off camera, and then I'm going to come back and then we can finish up with the face and then the lower lash line, and yeah. Okay, so I've finished up with the eyes just for now, and I'm going to move on to the skin. I'm dying to test out this foundation. It's the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and I have the shade Spiced Rum. I'm going to prime my face with the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer. This is the base mattifying primer. I mentioned this in a previous video that I have actually like just rediscovered this. I always used to use this ages ago, and I just rebought it when I was in New York just a little bit ago, and this is literally like the best because it really is mattifying, but it doesn't dry out my skin. I mean, I have oily skin, but sometimes when I use primers that are like super mattifying, ooh, okay, something really weird happened because this did not agree with my lotion. Do you see how I have all that curdling? Oh gosh. Okay, so it's funny because I actually used a face lotion instead of like the oils that I usually use when I put on my makeup, because I've never had this reaction before. But I do have a different lotion on my face. So I'm not going to put any more on. we're just going to keep it pushing. I'm going to apply this directly onto my face right now, and yeah, just hoping that this is a shade match because I only got one. And so I'm going to blend this out using a beauty blender. This is a perfect match. Yay. I was so excited when I saw the initial launch or relaunch for these foundations, because I know that Jackie Aina was really just spearheading the expansion of the shade range. I don't actually know the number of the shade range, but I know it was expanded by so many shades that included especially deeper skinned or darker skinned women, and it's just been really great lately and very encouraging seeing the amount of brands that are just like waking up and going, hey, you know, we need to be more inclusive. Like, our starting point should be inclusivity, which is, it's so crazy that for so many years it's not been a normal, but it now is becoming a normal, and that's very rewarding. So it seems like this is a medium coverage foundation, medium buildable, I'm assuming. It looks very natural on the skin, like my skin still looks like skin, which is great. I will be building this up to full coverage though, because if I'm wearing makeup, I'm going to be wearing full coverage. So I just want to zoom you guys in a little bit to see what the skin looks like with just one layer foundation. I am going to go in just with a second layer just to make sure that I don't see any imperfections. But on a day-to-day, like, this is the way that I would, this is the amount of foundation that I'd wear, and it literally feels like there's nothing on my face. I do this because when I feel like when I wear a lot of makeup or a foundation that like is very weighty on the skin, like, it just makes you a little bit uncomfortable. So this is a matte foundation, but it seems like it's like a demi matte foundation, so if you have dry skin you can still use this. It's not over drying and you can barely feel it on your face, so it probably won't like cling to any dry patches or anything like that. It has such a pretty finish, such a pretty finish. Okay, so I'm going to move on and contour my face. I'm not using anything new for that. I'm just using the Sleek Contouring Kit, and this is in the color Extra Dark. I'm actually going to go into the middle shade today. So I'd love to know if you guys are watching any good like Netflix shows. I have been watching, what do you call it? The Iron Fist, and I'm on season 2. I did watch the original season like a year ago, and it is kind of like it's a good show in the terms. It's a good show in the way that it's like a little bit brainless, and you know, it has just enough drama, but it's a little bit monotonous. It's not actually the kind of show that I really like to watch, but it's kind of keeping me busy as such. But I'm looking for like really good shows on Netflix or on Hulu. I don't actually have cable TV, so if you guys have any shows that you really love on those two networks, please do let me know. Anyway, I'm totally rambling, so we're going to go back in to concealer right now. I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I just only used it on my brows, so this is the test, the real test right now to see how this is. So I'm going to use this in all the usual areas where I highlight underneath my eye. So usually I'll just put 3 or 4 strokes like that, and then I put some on the bridge of my nose. I dot right there, a little bit on my forehead. My forehead's really big, so we don't really want to draw light to there. And then on my chin, over here, and then I go around here to see if there's any darkness, as well as around my mouth here. Okay, so I'm just going to blend all of that out, and I'm using the same beauty blender that I used for my foundation. So it is actually a very dry concealer. This maybe is the kind of concealer that you don't want to let sit for a long time, but it's extremely full coverage, which is great. It does definitely dry very quickly, so this is something that maybe you want to actually start on one side, blend out, and then add to the other side, because for me, I can already see how quickly this is dried down, and I like to have a little more time to work. Yeah, like I'm having to work a little bit harder to blend this out on my forehead here. Alright, so I'm just going to set all of that using the Collab setting powder. This is in the color Almond Caramel. I have spoken about this a ton in my old videos. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this really quickly because you guys don't need to see this kind of highlight and contour routine. I've showed it 1,000 times. I'm going to finish setting my face actually off camera and then I'll come back. So now that the majority of my face is done, I'm going to go back in and finish the under eyes. I'm pretty much using a gradient of these 4 shades, and I'm going to run these 4 shades and build it up underneath my eye. My second option is to do something like a different color, like there's purples and pinks under the eye, but I'm like a little bit undecided actually. What do you guys think? Do I go pink under the eye? Or do I just kind of finish this up and have a true green look? So I think we're just going to do the actual green under the eye only. So I'm going to start with this brighter shade here. And I'm just going to continue building that gradient. I'm not going to show you all the 4 shades as I pick it up. This bronzy color by Pixie by Petra. This is the Endless Silky Eye Pen and it's in the color Rose Glow. Alright, so now I'm going to pop some mascara on and these lashes. These are Morphe lashes as well in the style Romancing. They did send me a bunch of lashes, but I've never used this style in particular before. So we're going to throw these guys on off camera really quickly and then we'll come back. Okay, so I have my lashes on and I love them. I'm so glad I didn't do a wing because it would have been like way too much with this. These lashes are huge, 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 huge. But I quite enjoy the shape of them with this. So I'm just grabbing some liquid liner right now and I'm just adding a little bit to this inner corner here so that... Alright, so I'm switching to my Sigma liquid pen because that liquid liner was going to be too wet and drip everywhere and completely ruin this work that we did. Just using that just right for that inner corner right there. I do want to highlight my inner corner and I am going to use this very frosty shade over here. This is generally not a shade that I would use on my complexion, but I thought it would be kind of interesting and probably photograph really well for this look. So there we go. See, that looks really pretty. It actually is very complimentary with this look. Okay, so now we are officially donezo with the eyes. We're going to go on to blush and highlight and lips and finish up with this face really quickly. But I am very happy with the way that everything came out so far. I'm pretty satisfied. So I'm going to do a few finishing touches. One of them is just to pick up my mineralized skin finish. I always do this. And I'm just going to go over my brow bone and I make sure that everything is very blended, especially when I go in with shadows that are like much brighter. So now I'm going to go in with a blush. I got these new blushes from Karity. They're called the Blush Bomb. So I have 4 of these guys. Okay, instinct tells me to go with the pale pink for some reason. I have to open this packaging though and hope that the color looks like what I think it looks like. And so I'm just going to pick up the shade Fleek. So pretty. So for my highlight, I'm going to use this Amrezy highlighter that I've been using forever, but it's kind of ride or die at this point. Okay, so now that we're moving on to the lips, I'm just going to pull off any kind of foundation and powders that landed on my lips. We're going to keep the lips pretty nude today. So what I'm going to do is line my lips with the Chestnut lip liner from MAC. I love this so much. Look how small my little one is because it's almost run out. And then I'm going to use a Superstay. So it looks like mixing these two gives me the perfect shade. But you guys know that I'm never happy until I have like a glossy lip. So I'm going to go over top with the Colourpop gloss in Neat Freak. Alright, and now that we're done, we're going to spray our face with the Morphe setting spray. It's the Continuous Mist. So final thoughts on everything. I thought everything just actually turned out really nicely. I adore the foundation and concealer. The foundation is definitely something that I can wear every day. I saw that it was medium coverage and I could build it up to full coverage. Even with this whole like cake face of all this makeup that I have on now, I don't feel like everything is super heavy. My face doesn't look super matte. I feel like it looks kind of nice and like it has a little bit of a glow to it, and I'm not just talking about my highlight. It just feels healthy and it looks like skin. So I really do enjoy these Born This Way products. The concealer is beautiful. It is full coverage. The only thing is that you have to work very quickly because it dries really quickly, which I noticed. But it's also a great product to carve out the brows, which I like the way that my brows turn out, and my brows have not been done. And usually when brows aren't done, nothing can change my mind. I just don't like the way that it comes out. But I was very happy with the way that it did today. What else can I say? Okay, so the Morphe palette, I really love the palette. There are so many other looks that I want to do. I just want to like show it again. So there's so many other looks, right? So I did a green look, but I feel like I should come back and do like a purple look or a pinky look, or, you know, mix those. And then you could also do kind of like a bronzy situation with those bronze colors and that over there. So there's so many options. This is such a diverse palette, super pigmented. I did feel like with that one light shade that I put in my crease, it was a little bit chalky. You know, not a huge deal. And those are really my final thoughts. I don't have anything more to share with you on this palette. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and that you turn your post notifications on so that you are notified for the next time that I upload a video. Otherwise, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Definitely comment down below any other videos that you want to see from me. Have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoyed this video. God bless you guys, and remember, don't let anybody dim your glitter. Bye!